I should not read chamber music until so late. I cannot sleep. Mishka, don't move. Ale, let's try to sleep. How it might have been to make a pyjama party with Mozart. Let's sleep. Okay, instead of ships, let's put the composer to jump. Mozart is jumping, Bach is jumping, Haydn. Where is Haydn? He's hiding. Bad joke. I cannot sleep. Maybe I should make another chapter of Behind the Classics and make a tea. The fifth episode of Behind the Classics, we jump into one of the most virtuosistic and enigmatic pieces of Baroque music, Johann Sebastian Bach, Goldberg Variations. It was in 1741 when Bach composed those 30 variations. But its story is shrouded in mystery. Legend has is that the work was commissioned by Count Hermann Karl von Kaiserling, a Russian diplomat who suffered from insomnia. The Count requested that Bach compose music for his night, and the chosen performer was a young harpsichordist in his service, Johann Gottlieb Goldberg. This is why the piece bears the name Goldberg. Though the story has never been officially confirmed, what we do know is that Goldberg Variations are a masterpiece of counterpoint and thematic variation, a challenge for both the performer and the listener. What makes this piece so special? For starters, the core of the piece is a simple, serene area from which Bach develops 30 variations, each with its own character, rhythm, and structure, yet all connected by the same harmonic progression. Bach uses the harmonic structure to explore from canon to fugues to dances to free forms even. Each one is an universal unto himself, and yet together they form a monumental piece that seems to transcend the time. Shh. Go sleep. This piece was originally composed to harpsichord, but during the 50s it became very famous, the interpretation by Glenn Gould. His interpretation revolutionized modern perception of the Goldberg Variations, bringing them to a wider audience and cementing a symbiotic relationship between the piece and the piano. Glenn Gould revisited the work in 1981, offering a slower, more introspective interpretation, and the contrast between these two recordings has fascinated listeners ever since. Over the centuries, the Goldberg Variations have been a masterpiece of study, reinterpretation, admiration. Each performer brings their own approach, whether out of devotion to Bach's original text or through adding personal nuances. In this way, the work continues to live on, revealing new secrets with each performance. The original title of the work reads Aria mit verschiedenen Veränderungen for Klaviercymbal mit zwei Manualen, meaning aria with diverse variations for the harpsichord with two manuals. This implies that Bach intended the work to be performed on a double manual harpsichord with two keyboards, which allowed the performer to easily handle the crossing hands and complex textures. Many modern performances on piano require creative solutions for these challenges. Bach structured the Goldberg Variations with incredible precision. Every third variation is a canon, where a melody is imitated by another voice after a set interval. These canons become progressively more complex, with the intervals between the voices increasing by one step each time, from unison in the first canon, the variation 3, to a ninth in the final canon, the variation 27. The final variation is a quad libet, a playful form where multiple popular melodies or themes are combined. In this case, Bach includes snippets of folk songs that were likely familiar to his family, such as Ich bin so lang nicht bei dir gewesen. That means, I have not been with you for so long. And Kraut und Rüben haben mich vertrieben. Cabbage and turnips have driven me away. It was common to the Bach family to perform quadlibets at gatherings, adding a personal touch to this final variation. The piece is highly symmetrical. It begins and it ends with the same aria, and the variations themselves are organized with strict order. Variation 16, which is exactly halfway through the cycle, serves as an overture, marking the midpoint and giving the structure a sense of balance and symmetry. Still, this is a very famous piece, but what could be the lifestyle learning behind this work? The Goldberg Variation maybe could leave us with several lessons, musical or philosophical. The power of transformation. From a simple aria, Bach creates a rich and diverse musical world, reminding us that simplicity can lead to infinite complexity if led with creativity. And this, why not, could be applied for life. Even the most basic situations can transform if viewed from different perspectives. Maybe also musically, the beauty in structure. The work shows us how beauty can emerge from coherence and order, reflecting the importance of finding balance and harmony in our lives. Why not also the circularity of the journey? The fact that the work ends with an exact repetition of the original aria symbolizes the idea that after a long journey full of changes, we sometimes return to the same point, but with new understanding. It teaches us that the end of a process or cycle is not so much a closure as an opportunity to reflect on the journey. And at the end, personally, patience to the detail. Performing the Goldberg Variations requires enormous patience, attention to the detail, and a deep understanding of Bach's musical language. It's a lesson about how dedication and effort can lead to something sublime, a teaching applicable to any craft of art. Now I think it's time to sleep, but thank you very much for joining once again Behind the Classics. Don't forget, behind every note there is a life tale waiting for us. Remember to tune in next week when we are going to explore another musical gem that has left its marks in history. Grande beso. Activate the bell and follow. Ciao. Good night.